time it is!
Thank you once again for checking out the C Squared Hour. I'm your host, Chris, coming to you 4 days after the QAnon said Trump was getting back into presidency. So, well, originally it was the 3rd, now it's the 20th. So I wanted to give it just a couple days to see, what the time zone thing did, but nope, not back in power yet. So, tough break. Before I get too far into this, I want to let you know I went a little symbolic with my beer choice today. All right? So stick with me. Just trust me. All right? So when we did our infamous Portland trip that I think most people who heard about it enjoyed the laughs, enjoyed the yucks. It all started that night when we walked across to the gas station and there was an 18-pack of what was called Olympia. And I talked the other Chris into getting that. And that's how our night started. So I thought it would be a cool thing to do is if, next couple episodes, since that's where we started, or that's kind of how this all started, we drink Olympia on the show. That seems like a good idea. So I started looking into it, and I've seen it in a couple places, hit and miss here and there over the past year, 2 years or so. So I go to look it up, and at one point in the last not too distant past, it was purchased by the Pabst Brewing Company. And I thought, oh, that's cool. I read more into it, and they just recently discontinued it. Yes, that is a moment of silence, because, quite honestly, it's in the water. Alright, whatever. No, so, they discontinued Olympia, so today I decided, for the homie, I'd be throwing back a little PBR today, kicking it old school. PBR. Also, PBR was the weeknight 50-cent beer. Was it 50 cent? Yeah, 50-cent beer night beer. We did a lot of 50-cent beer nights, and yeah, PBR was it. So that's another reason. You may be wondering, especially after last week, where the other Chris is. I have no way of sugarcoating this. He is currently in a federal lockup. Really interesting story. So it all started with the cup holder in not his new car, but the car he had beforehand. And anytime he would buy a 20-ounce soda, the cup holder, the kind of compressed a little bit, the ones that you pull out from the center, and they kind of, well, he started noticing that it was going less and less. And he started looking into things, and he didn't quite like what he saw the answer was. So he hopped a plane, and he broke into the Department of Weights and Measures, because he is convinced that they are slowly changing how much an ounce is to allow the big soda companies, to put less in and still be able to call it a 20 ounce or a 12 ounce or so he was going to find the evidence of that. He was on it, and he got to where he thought he was, Department of Weights and Measures. He wasn't sure if this was considered a weight or a measure. So he started in the weights, couldn't find anything. So he starts going over to the measures area of the department, and that's when they caught him. So, really, that's all I really know. He's in a federal lockup. They aren't allowing any outside contact. And really, what they're doing is they're using the Patriot Act on this. And from what I can understand, because right now he has a team of probably 8 lawyers working on this, just because of how crazy this is getting, how deep this is going. So he's got that, and from what I can gather, because he was looking into ounces and not liters or milliliters or anything like that, because he was looking at ounces, and that's an American measure, technically, they can use the Patriot Act to hold him indefinitely. So that's where they're having, if he was looking into liters, that's a worldwide thing, that's not directly, quote unquote, attacking America. So that's where we're at. He's in that. Again, no outside contact. Of course, part of also the Patriot Act thing is the, flying on a plane, traveling state lines, all that. That's also making it federal. But yeah, they're using anti-terrorism statutes to really knock this down. So that's where he's at. So hopefully we get some answers. I did see that the courts, was it the Ninth Appellate Court or whatever, whichever one had the case, basically saying that people don't have a right to carry either concealed or open. That's technically not in the. I'll talk about it later. I'm not going to get into this. It just came across my phone, so I'm not going to go into any sort of shit before I see what the world has to say about it, before I see what nutty each side happens. Now, I'll get to something a little bit later, but yeah, so I'm not going into that. What I did want to mention, I told you all, I know I'm not famous, probably not the most likable guy, easiest guy to listen to, but by God, I'm going to, try to build a listenership through this whole medium of podcast and this casting of the pod. And I get annoyed when I look at and I see, the broads from The Office, because they can't get a job acting, they start it. Or I saw Richard fucking Sherman, formerly cornerback of San Francisco and most famously Seattle Seahawks, Richard fucking Sherman has a podcast. What the fuck am I even doing? Why do I even do this? I did this backwards. I needed to get famous. I needed to get fucking somehow just, and then start this. But no, I tried to do it the other way. I tried to get famous off the podcast. I'm such a fucking idiot. I mean, I'm going to keep going with it now. It's more kind of like a fuck you, Richard Sherman. But Richard Sherman, why? It was bad enough when Hunter Pence. I actually don't know if Hunter Pence still has one or not. Outfielder for the Giants. It was bad enough when that was coming up, but at least he had a niche about it. It's Richard Sherman. So if you wonder why I may get a little annoyed when I'm doing this, or I don't know, seem a little upset, or seem a little, it's because I have to sit down and flip on the news and see a quote from the Richard Sherman podcast. And it's like, so what the fuck am I doing? Why even try? that being said, yeah, let's get to the real shit. I'm sorry about the really, taking away the lightheartedness that I try to exude on this show, and really bring the show down to a real level of where I'm saying, fuck this thing, I'm done. But won't say that. Won't say it. You know why? Because by God, I'm still shooting for the moon and hoping to land within the stars. Even though that's backwards, even though that's dumb, I have not yet landed among the stars. I am still heading for that moon. I wrote that on my vision board. So if you were wondering where that came from, I'm looking at my vision board right now. So, damn it, I forgot to light the lavender candle again. God, I'm stupid. Okay, well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and here's what you could do, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, because women find me off-putting. Just call me Nostradamus. I called it. Loyola Chicago into the Sweet 16. And you know why? Because they have an interesting fan. That's it. They have the 101-year-old nun who is sitting courtside at every game. And I tell you, that's all you need. Everyone needs it. You need what... If you're a sports team or a sports player, you need what I like to call a morning show fan. A fan where if middle-aged housefrows throw on the Good Morning America or the Today Show, and they say, now for the lighter story, look at how much fun Sister Jean's having watching these. You need that fan, and if you get that fan, you're in. You are in. Last time they went deep, it was because of this nun broad made it to their, again, worked for St. Louis. It worked for Gary Woodland. I know it's worked for other people before. I don't have it in front of me because, again, stupid, whatever. I know it works. So, once again, I told you, Loyola Chicago is going deep in the tournament because of the morning show fan. Did you listen to me? I don't know. What I do know is they tried it with Abilene Christian, and apparently, because every whistle they were showing the coach's wife. And, her, freaking out. They tried to do it, but apparently the sports Illuminati did not find her a good enough morning show fan to let them get into the second round. Or, I'm sorry, get into the third round. So, it was a good effort. They tried to push they tried to push that through, but again, it took, you're not going to upstage Sister Jean. Isn't it Sister Jean? I don't fucking know. 102-year-old broad in a wheelchair. Calls herself, who's a nun. You're not going to upstage that. Sorry. You got to wait for that bat to croak or for Loyola Chicago not to win their conference tournament. And then you might have a chance of, pushing forward your morning show fan. All that being said, guess who I took in most of my brackets? This is why betting on the Final Four sucks a fat nutsack. Guess who I took in most of my brackets? Illinois. Here's why. It was the least talked about number one seed I heard going into the tournament. Granted, I live in the Northwest, so I could be hearing more about Gonzaga than nationally I should, but I hear them talking nationally a lot. They are the number one overall seed. I'm thinking, Illinois. I mean, even though Michigan, they weren't saying was that, weren't talk, you talk about Juwan Howard. They were talking about that. So I'm thinking, yeah, Illinois is good. Who do they play in the second round? Loyola Chicago. I've spent months talking about the morning show fan, and then when I get a fucking bracket in front of my hands, I forget that. I feel like I just noticed that Mount Vesuvius was going to erupt, so I built a house closer to the base of the mountain. I called it. I haven't looked who they're playing yet, but I called it. But hey, you want to see why I lose so much gambling? It's because I don't listen to my fucking self. I give you guys all the right path. Hey, if you see a morning show fan, ride that team till the wheels fall off. Do I listen? No. I have them out in the second round. You fucking idiot. Could that be a sign that maybe I need to stop 100% gambling on March Madness? Or maybe it's a sign that I am too smart for my own good. Is what it is. I'm so smart, I convince myself I'm stupid. That's got to be what it is. I've figured it out. I have infiltrated the mind of the sports Illuminati, and I couldn't ride with it. I wasn't smart enough to go with it. So guess what, squareheads? From now on, I'm either not going to be gambling on things that I give my opinion about or I have an opinion on, like the fan thing, and there's other stuff that comes along, and that when it comes up, I'll bring it up. I'm not betting on anything I have an opinion on, so you folks get the odds better on that, or maybe I just stop gambling on March Madness. March Madness is the absolute worst sports event thing to gamble on. People say, the Kentucky Derby and all. Well, if you follow any sort of horse racing before then, if you look at any other race, it's a little bit easier. But March Madness, of the 64, I'm not talking about the fucking playing games and all that stupid shit. You can go fuck yourself with all those. Of the 64, the only time people see probably 40 of those teams is the Sunday when SportsCenter runs through all those, mid-major conferences, they call them, and shows you who won. Who the fuck knows who they are and who they match up with? And if you're trying to get rich on March Madness, I hope you lose your house this year. If you're doing it for fun, by all means, do it for fun, whatever. But if you're trying to make a living off it, if you're trying to do a real good job of it, or whatever, enjoy living in your car. So, you may have been able to tell where we're sitting. This weekend was the first two rounds of the tournament. Again, like I said, I let other people. I'm done explaining. This is the last time I'm going to say this for you. Yeah. You see, I let other shows who specifically talk about sports to go in real depth. I just do the main level of it. Last time I'm saying that. So if you fuckers haven't figured out why I don't go too in depth on everything I fucking talk about, sidebar, I just get annoyed though when I hear myself say shit that I've said a million fucking times before and don't know what else to say for it. Well, I gotta say, Oral Roberts, they're doing good, but again, they're a low C, but it's not like Oral Roberts isn't a mid-major that you haven't heard that name before in basketball. So, yeah, it's nuts that they're still in the tournament. But, again, it's not like it's... I don't know. I was going to try to think of a fucking school, but I don't know any comparisons. So, it's not that... I guess not. It's surprising. They're a 15 seed and they went to the Sweet 16, but that's not... they're a school that has a basketball program that you've heard of. So anyone who's going too hard on that is a fucking idiot. All right. Anyone who's talking about how amazing this run Oral Roberts is making, yeah, it's great. It's two big upsets. But if you're talking like this is the, I don't know, like this is if the Jamaican bobsled team won in 1980, you're a fucking moron and just stay home. And they're talking about all the low seeds that, you know, or all the upsets this year. First of all, Oral Roberts and Loyola, they, you know, played well. They're a better team than you thought. But if you look at the 16 minus those two teams, they're all big conference schools that were the underdogs and shit like that. So you know what the rankings say this year is, this was a weird fucking year. We didn't have a full season to look into this shit. So, you know what? We're going to guess and we're going to be really fucking wrong a lot of the time. That's all the upsets are showing me, because if you look at it, well, the Pac-10 or Pac-12's killing it. That's how old of a fan I am. I remember when they were the Pac-10. Yeah, the Pac-12 minus Colorado, and then Syracuse. If you can call a team coached by Jim Boeheim a surprise or a Cinderella, you're a fucking dumbass. Jim fucking Boeheim coaches that team. He could take a winless team and take a winless team and potentially win at least one game in the tournament. It's Jim Boeheim, all right? Calling that a big fucking, you know, surprise or the big, you know, you're fucking morons. I'm sorry. Not to mention, what, they were the 12? The 12 always goes deep. But, Christ, there I am going into the fucking March Madness. God, even I fall for it. And yeah, the Pac-12. And then what the rest of it is a lot of the other, quote-unquote, upsets. Well, in fact, I was looking at it. I think the rest are from the Pac-12 that are still there. That just means the selection committee doesn't stay up past 10. Because on the East Coast, the Pac-12 games aren't over till, you know, midnight their time. That's all it is. They were just underappreciated. They were... Am I correct? I may be wrong on this. I didn't write it on my notes, but Colorado might be the only Pac-12 team that is out? Or I'm dumb. Sports people, sports writers, sports reporters, here's what I want from you. Here's what I need you to do for me. From now on, if you call any major conference or major program winning in a tournament game, if you call it a major upset, I want you to smash your left testicle with a hammer. I would say, or your, you know, your left boob or whatever if you're a woman, but we all know you're just reading the teleprompter. We all know you're just reading what the man wrote for you, so you get a pass. But Pac-12, yeah, looking good. I'm gonna break something down to my Pacific Northwest followers who are really excited about this, who are really loved what happened in the first round with Eastern Washington. Hate to break it to you, Eastern wasn't good. Kansas was god awful. that game should have been in a conference tournament. There's no way that should have been in the March Madness game. Yes, Eastern looked good against Kansas, who decided to eke out a 9-point win over a 14 seed and then get their ass beat by fucking, 20 points? 20 something in the next round. So congratulations, Eastern. You got a couple guys who, went viral over them looking goofy, and, you had a halftime lead, but just understand that you weren't good. Kansas was bad. I am really sorry to say that, because, I'm around Eastern alumni and alumnus or whatever, but I'm sorry I have to say that, but it's the truth. So if I see anyone, I'm going to be very disappointed at any of my friends or family who I see share or speak about how amazing it was that they went that far with the University of Kansas. Say what you will, say making it to the tournament, that's fine. But if you say anything about how proud you are or how amazing it was, how they did in the tournament, you don't get to, because Kansas fucking sucked. Okay, and so again, upsets weren't really upsets. Hey, maybe, just maybe, I think Vegas needs to look into this. Maybe that shooter at the Boulder grocery store bet on Florida State. I'll get into that later. So, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, how the Vice Network did a whole thing, Who is Q, and searching for QAnon, and how just, would have been a great documentary if they didn't put their own fucking labia lips into the opinion or whatever. HBO just came out with a docuseries doing the same thing. Hey, Vice Network, that's how you do a fucking documentary. So I've watched the first 2 episodes. I'm not going to go too far into it, just for the simple fact that, again, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. And right now, they're just focusing on the creation of 8chan, which is where the QAnon, stuff started. And so I'm not going to go too far into it, because they really haven't hit it too hard. But this is the first I heard JFK Jr. was still alive, and he is the QAnon, or he is Q, as they call him. If you were going on all the crazy conspiracies Vice Network documentary, how do you miss that one? That's the best I've heard. Am I correct in saying they still haven't found that fucking plane? I mean, Christ, you could say, wait for it. You could say the Vice documentary missed the point worse than JFK Jr. missed the airport. Thank you. So that was the I'm within first episodes. I'm like, oh shit, and they're bringing up the name Roger Stone and General Flynn. These are all coming up, but right now they're focusing on how did this get started. They're going into it rather than let's find the guy who meets our narrative, who we're gonna say is Q. No, they're just fucking around. And again, why I waited a couple days to do this, because I wanted to see if the March 20th date did happen. Another thing is, this guy, and again, first 2 episodes into it, but this guy, he may be coming across with an agenda, with a point. I can't tell what it is yet. With the Vice Network documentary, within 13 minutes, I knew exactly what their point was and what they were going to say. As a member of my family always says, everyone has an agenda. Everyone has a point of view they're trying to push across. But I want to work hard to figure out what it is. I don't want to be able to sit there and say, oh, okay, well, by the end of this, they're going to be saying that. And so that's where I'm at right now. So 2 episodes in, very excited about it. Very happy about it. I don't know. God, that sounded real fruity, didn't it? Anyway, I'm enjoying it. And we'll see where it goes from there. But again, they brought up JFK Jr., and by all means, I love me a great JFK Jr. conspiracy. I think his dad gets too much love in the conspiracy game, and I don't think John, I forget what they called him, but I don't think he gets enough love in the conspiracy game, and by God, I'm glad that we have another documentary out there pushing forward that narrative. The one thing I did notice, and this may be what they're doing, because they're talking about all the what they call it, Q-tubers, or the people who look at what QAnon posts and then decide or figure what they try to interpret it, or they show all those people, and yeah, they're all dweebs, and they're all just people who need a friend/hobby. But this documentary took the Q debunkers and made them look just as fucking stupid as these people. Because, quite honestly, they're both fucking dumb. They're both annoying. They're both idiots. They both don't know what the fuck. So, they show all the QTubers like, oh, what does he mean by this? Or, we're going to figure out what's going on here. And then they go to the debunkers and like, yeah, I started just doing this, but now we're the biggest debunk. Dude, you're wearing sunglasses in the house. First of all, that hasn't been cool since '84. Second of all, not even idiots have thought that was cool since '96. So the fact that you're doing that, wearing sunglasses while I debunk what the QAnon posts are. You look like a fucking moron. You don't look mysterious. And that's probably where this HBO documentary or this docuseries really got to me. That's where they really caught me, where I'm saying, this might not be bad. It's when they make them look like fucking douche nozzles too. Because that's all this. If you do a QAnon documentary and you don't walk away from it saying these people are fucking idiots, any Q experts on either side, if you don't walk away saying these people are fucking morons, the documentary didn't do it justice. If you are that deep on it, any side, on either side, you are a loser on epic proportions, and you should probably try playing. I was going to make a Frogger joke, but then I realized not enough people would recognize it. Just go play catching traffic. Don't want you to die, I just want you to get hurt. Alright, this is going to be a little shorter episode today, because a lot of the stuff that came out, the big stuff, I want to give it a couple, another week to really let it, percolate. Again, the Court of Appeals just said there's no right to carry, whether concealed or open. So that's going to go forward, and that's going to be gun people, going, it's going to be a shitstorm. And it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and because Trump got 2 of his appointees in, we'll see how unfair that is, and we'll see what the news and whatever. I can tell you right now, come tomorrow morning, you're going to see all these stories about how, on the left, how, well, this is, because neither side's happy right now. Neither side's happy. This is a great step movement. But this is a great step forward. But this is going to go to the Supreme Court and get shot down, which just shows how anti-American Trump appointees were. And then the right's going to say, this is against the Second Amendment, and you're infringing on our freedoms, and you're... Dude, it's just all they're doing is adjusting a definition. It's just a definition. That's all it is. They're not saying any of the laws are legal or illegal or anything like that. They're just changing a definition. Yes, it could lead to other shit, but wait till it leads to that other shit. Wait till that shoe starts to drop. Till now, just say, oh, look, they redefined this. Now let's see where it goes. Again, I don't even know if this has turned into a shitstorm yet. But I'm just predicting what the arguments are. And come next week, I may be fucking wrong. But it was fun to do. So anyway, it's just redefining something. Hold on to your tits. Calm down. Alright? So I mentioned earlier, I made a joke in very bad taste that maybe the shooter in Boulder, Colorado was an FSU fan. Because once the shooting was announced, the University of Colorado, really the only Pac-12 team to shit the bed against Florida State. And they got their ass beat. But yeah, another mass shooting. Well, there was the one down in Atlanta, which, is the massage parlors and things like that, which there's the easy narrative, and the one I'm hearing the most is, well, massage parlors, Asian, mad at COVID. Okay, well, maybe he just paid for an hour and was finished in 7.5 minutes. And so he came back and took it out on everybody. That's a possibility, right? If you're batshit enough to shoot up a massage parlor, that seems like something that would set you off. And yeah, then the shooting at the Boulder grocery store. Here's what's being lost in this whole argument. Yes, people. First of all, what they arrested, it was a 21-year-old white male who 21-year-old white male who was arrested for the suspect. I am going to say something that may not be popular. I'm glad this fucker's still alive. Here's why. Because during some sort of tragic event like this, and during some sort of mass shooting like this, and then the gunman takes his own life, as soon as it happens, the speculation starts, and all you get is speculation. Oh, he's an anti-Semite. No, he needs mental health. No, it's because of the gun laws. No, it's because he's racist. No, it's because he wasn't raised right. Maybe, just maybe, it's going to be a good thing. Not the whole thing wasn't good, but maybe it's going to be beneficial to the conversation to actually hear or see this guy, or what the fuck this guy's about, or why he did this shit, because then we can have a real conversation about it, not this fucking bullshit that, no, it's the guns, no, it's the mental health, no, it's the racism. First of all, he's nutty, in my opinion. Second of all, it's fucking Colorado, alright? There is something wrong. Colorado's fucking weird, alright? Been there quite a few times. I know plenty of people who live there. Talked to a guy who lives there and loves it, but he says people are fucking weird here. Humans are not meant to live that high above sea level. Alright? That's why it's so hard to climb a fucking mountain, because you're not supposed to do that. And so people live up there, you live up there long enough, you get nuttier and nuttier, and this shit happens. You look at it, Columbine, the movie theater. I can go on and on. Was it? There's other shit. You're not designed. One of the few. Look at what you got. You got Colorado. Got Utah. You got Montana. Central Montana. That are all really, really, really up there in the Rockies. All of those places are fucking batty. People aren't supposed to live that high. And when that happens, eventually, it's they're microdosing, all right? There's that whole term where you take, an eighth of a hit of an acid so you can, readjust yourself, but you do it every day or whatever. That's what they're doing. When you work out, a lot of people work out, with the oxygen, so I'm running feeling like what it's like doing. Well, they're microdosing limited oxygen. And that just slowly turns everyone nutty. Whereas, if you climb a mountain and you don't do it right, you're going to get nutty, but you're going to get better once you get down, once your mind is fixed or whatever. It's the slow drip of no oxygen that makes Colorado people nutty. And that's why this happened, in my opinion. But I want to hear what he has to say. I want to kind of see what happens with that. And again, glad the guy's still alive. I apologize if that upsets anybody about the whole, the system's racist. Probably is. Whatever. This might be what I also enjoyed about this. I can't say what I enjoy. What I found interesting. God, I sound like such a. Well, what I did enjoy. What I found interesting was within 30 minutes of hearing about the shooting and hearing about the arrest, it was reported that there is another Pentagon UFO report coming out. Odd timing. Huh. Maybe. The question becomes, which one are they trying to hide? Are they trying to hide the UFO report? Or are they trying to diminish the shooting? My guess is they might be just throwing it against the wall and seeing which one sticks. All right, let's have both these go out. If people are still worried about the shooting, then we can push forward whatever fucking UFO thing we want. People are worried about the UFO thing. We can take care of this shooting in the back room. And just found it interesting that within 30 minutes there's a report of a new Pentagon. So again, it sucks. Another mass shooting and all this. There's also the concern that maybe this is just our life now. Could it be this is just shit we have to deal with? You hear about other people growing up in places, countries where you hear machine gun, firing through the night, or there's war going on in your background. Maybe this is just us now. Maybe this is just the country we've become, and we just have to deal with it. And I mean, countries who've been around a lot longer are dealing with a lot worse. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a scary thing to think, but anyway. All right, well, I'm running out of gas, so we should probably start wrapping this up. Before I go, I do want to say, AFL is back. Aussie rules football is back. First game, their opening game on whatever it was, national TV or whatever. Huge knockout 15 minutes into the game. Fucking great. That is why this sport is awesome. So AFL's back. My boys, Collingwood, dropped the first game. They're playing tonight. They're playing Carlton tonight, which, if I remember correctly, I should probably know this, being such a big Collingwood fan. Probably like the number 3 Collingwood supporter in the United States. possibly Northern Hemisphere. I believe Carlton is their big rival. So I'm got 3 hours till that starts. So I'm either going to be taking a nap or living out my dreams on 2K21. PGA, not NBA. So AFL's back. I want all my squareheads to check it out, follow it, and do me another favor. Tweet at Fox Sports and the AFL. Get a fucking deal done. I want to stop streaming from my phone to my TV. I want to watch it on actual TV. All right? All right. If you get it on there, I will take my platform, which I'm already doing now, but I will take my platform and I will do my best to send it into the mainstream US. And I tell you what, I will tell you, you probably can't sell it this way. But AFL is the perfect late night drunk and late night stoned sports for the American culture. It's perfect. It's easy to watch without knowing what the fuck's going on. And that's what people want. And people are getting their head knocked off. That's what drunk and stoned people want. There is a market for it here. So Fox Sports, get off your fat tits and start making it happen. AFL, start making it happen. Us in the US, 1:30. Let's be up watching Carlton Collingwood. So to wrap up, again, let's all try to let's hit up the Department of Weights and Measures. Let's try to get Chris out of holding. Again, Patriot Act, who knows. Beer this week, I went PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon, symbolically because they bought and killed Olympia, which actually might help because I have a couple of Olympia signs that might go through the roof now. That's not a beer anymore. Anyway, PBR, if you are anywhere between the age of 16 to 23, you do not need to know what PBR, you don't need me to explain it to you. If you've ever been the age 16 to 23, you don't need me to explain it to you. Say what you will. It is a great beer. So, PBR, let's shout out. Again, I want to thank all my squareheads out there. Did you notice I dropped in earlier without even pausing? So, again, share this around. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can email me. We have our shows on YouTube. We are on every major streaming device. Share it around. Show me some love, people. If it doesn't look like there's anything else, so if there's nothing else, I will see you all next week.